Welcome students. During last class, we have studied about one method, one procedure for the transfer of the heat, and that was conduction. And we have studied conduction in detail, what the conduction is, and when the conduction will take place. And when we have, by looking at a video, we have discussed in detail what the conduction is and how the transfer of heat takes place. I have given you an example of a teacher who is standing in your class and how he is able to transfer an object in the class without the motion of the people or the students sitting in the class. So today we are proceeding the same. We are heading, we follow the same the methodology transfer of the heat with the help of conduction. Now today's our topic is coefficient of thermal conductivity, and the thermal conductivity. First of all, we will understand what the thermal conductivity is. Then we will move for the next topic. So if you look at thermal conductivity, it is the measure of ability of a substance to conduct heat energy. So how much amount of energy a substance can conduct, that is basically its thermal conductivity. The amount of heat that flows in unit time is called rate of flow of heat. A rate of flow of heat is basically, if you look at, that is Q divided by T. This is the formula. This is the Q divided by T, rate of flow of the heat. That is called thermal conductivity. Coefficient of thermal conductivity, when a metal cube of a substance is maintained at difference of temperature of 1 K Kelvin, then the quantity of heat that reaches from one end to the other end in 1 second is called coefficient of thermal conductivity. What's the difference of temperature between the two ends? That is 1 K. And how much amount of heat energy will be transferred in 1 second? That will be basically coefficient of thermal conductivity. And you know it's better that for the transfer of heat there needs to be a difference of heat between the two bodies. Here we have maintained the two ends at the difference of 1 K. So here is a Q. So the amount of heat flowing in 1 second through meter cube of a substance whose opposite faces are maintained at 1 K. Opposite faces are maintained at 1 K temperature. That is, the coefficient of thermal conductivity is generally represented by K. So here it is. This K is equal to, this is the formula to calculate coefficient of thermal conductivity. If you look at, and we are going to derive the formula for coefficient of thermal conductivity. Here Q is the amount of heat that flows from one end to another. This is the length of sight of any conductor across between the two ends, and this is the area, and del T is the temperature difference, and time is the time, T is the time taken by the transfer of heat to transfer heat from one end to another end. The unit of SI, unit of coefficient of thermal conductivity, is joule per meter per Kelvin second, or watt per meter per Kelvin. Nature of the quantity, it's a scalar quantity. So here it is. Consider a metal of rod XY. This one is XY. This is the metal of rod. They are at different temperatures, T1 and T2. So whose one end is X, placed at the steam chamber, and the other end at temperature T1, and the other end Y in a calorimeter filled with water at temperature T2. Here is the temperature T2, and here it is the temperature T1. It is, this end is placed in the steam chamber, another one is placed in the calorimeter. So T1 is greater than, it is clear that the end which is placed in the steam chamber will be having more temperature. So T1 is greater than T2. Dependence of transfer of heat on what the factor will depend. It is found that the transfer of heat depends on the following factors. Number one, cross-sectional area of the rod. Whatsoever the cross-sectional area of the rod is, it is directly proportional. More is the cross-sectional area, means more amount of heat it will permit to pass through. And the temperature difference between the 2 points. If more is the temperature difference, more faster will be the amount of heat transfer. Time, less is the time, of course, less will be the heat. And there is a relation of the length. More is the length, less amount of heat will be transferred. So again, these are four factors: cross-sectional area of the rod, temperature difference between the two ends, time taken to transfer heat from end A to B or X to Y, or from T1 to T2. That is length of the rod. Now, if you look at, on the basis of these four assumptions, we are going to make four equations. Larger the cross-sectional area of the rod, greater will be the transmission of the heat. That is, these have direct relation, directly proportional to each other. More is the cross-sectional area, more it will permit to pass the heat through it. So temperature difference between the two ends of the rod. In summer, it takes longer time to get tea to get colder, but in winter it takes very much less time to get colder. Why? Because the transfer of heat becomes faster. So this is the same. More is the temperature difference, more easier it will be for the transfer of the heat. It will be more. So greater the difference of the temperature, greater will be the quantity of heat reaching at one end to the other end of the rod. So here it is. This is the formula used to calculate. This is the formula which explains that if there is a temperature difference, larger is the temperature difference between the two ends, more will be the heat transferred. More is the cross-sectional area, more will be the heat transfer. Number three is the time. More the longer time, uh, more heat will be flow from one end to will flow from one end to another end. So these are the three factors till now. And the fourth one is more you take the length of the rod. You are sitting in your diagram and you place one end of the metal in the kitchen on the fire. So it will take more and more time because you have increased the length of the conductor. By increasing length of a conductor, the heat transfer will be very slow. But if you see uh, what had happened, that is, if you take the smaller rod, it will be very quick to get it heated. But if you take a long length, 2 or 3 meters, then you have to wait for a long time to get get it heated. So that's why if you increase the length of the conductor, the transfer of heat will be less. So combining all these four, you have combined all these together. This is directly proportional to the area. If you look at this transfer of heat, which takes place from one end to the other end, this transfer of heat Q, that is directly proportional to A. It is directly proportional to A area of cross section. It is directly proportional to the temperature difference between the two ends. It is directly proportional to the time taken. If more is the time, more the heat will be transferred. And it is inversely proportional to the length of the conductor. So here it is. K is basically constant of proportionality, which is called coefficient of thermal conductivity. And where K is the constant called coefficient of thermal conductivity. K is large for metals and small for non-metals. More because metals are good conductor of heat, so that's why the coefficient of thermal conductivity is more in case of metals and less in case of non-metals. So this is the most interesting thing to understand on what the factor of the thermal conductivity of the metal depends. So it depends on area of cross section. More the area, more will be the transfer of the heat. And then it depends on the temperature difference between the two ends. More is the temperature difference, more will be the heat transferred, and it depends on time as well. More you time take it, the time take more amount of heat will be transferred, but if the length is more, then the transfer of heat becomes slow. So here is a note to remember. So the value of K is different for different metals. It's not same for all types of the metals. Its value depends on the nature of the material. Value of K depends on the nature of the material. Material whose K has a large value are said to be good conductors. This is the criteria to understand for the good conductors. If the area material has large value of K, then the conductors are good conductors. And it happens in case of metals. Materials having less value of K are called insulators, and they are poor conductor of the heat. This is the most important points to remember for that to understand the value of K. The value of K is different for different materials. Number one. Number two, its value depends on the nature of the material. Number three, materials whose K has large value are said to be good conductors. And similarly, the opposite of this will be the materials which have the very less value of the K are called insulators. So with this, today's class ends. I hope you people have understood today's topic. Thank you very much for your patience.